America. The media is talking about Hillary Clinton leading the pack of Democratic candidates in fundraising. I don't know a soul in real life that's actually talking about that, but maybe that's because the media is missing the point. The point that they should be focusing on is the plan for a socialist agenda and big taxes. Elections have become about money and power. What really matters is winning by any means necessary. Candidates spend their way in office, and you and me, we the people, end up paying the price. So grab your musket, because here's the point tonight. I say no taxation without representation. It's what our forefathers fought for, and it's time we demand it again. And here's how I got there. First of all, let's talk about the representation part of this whole scenario. The Democrats and the Republicans as well, I mean, they suck just as much. They've been hijacked by the big spending fringe elements within their own parties. When it comes to the Clinton Democrats, we're talking about the ultra-left socialists paying the bills and pulling all the strings. And I believe that regular Democrats are afraid of them. Hillary and her new progressive philosophy aren't representative of what the Democratic Party used to be. I don't believe she represents what most of today's Democrats believe is best for the country. Special interests and kooks like Michael Moore make noise and get attention, and the Democrats think that they're using those guys as fuel. I think it's the other way around. Do you really want those guys speaking for you? Does Michael Moore represent you? Now let's talk about taxation here. Here's what's been proposed by Democrats in the last 10 days. 1, the global warming and carbon tax. That's going to tack on an extra 50 cents a gallon to the existing price at the pump. Then there's the Clintons' baby bond. $5 grand in the bank for every newborn. That cash comes from where? Oh yeah, I forgot. Your pocket. How about the war tax? That'll hit families with a 2 to 15% income tax increase. Up next is the Democrats' S-chip medical subsidy with a price tag of $35 billion over the next 5 years. A bargain compared to Hillary's big-ticket socialized health care plan that would set taxpayers back an extra $110 billion every year. So tonight, here's what you need to know. People like Hillary Clinton, their plan on, paying for their political agenda with your tax dollars. Unless you feel like footing a bill for somebody else's radical ideas, I think we need to take our parties back. That comes from the Republicans and the Democrats. The Republicans were hijacked by big spenders dressed up like conservatives. Well, they were lying to us. And the Democrats are losing their soul to socialists dressed like JFK. I'd gladly take JFK today. They don't care about your kids, really. Those people in the shadows, they only care about the power and their power to spend. As of yesterday, the U.S. is already $9 trillion in the hole, and Washington has hidden an extra $50 to $90 billion off the books. The last thing our nation needs is more spending. The last thing we, the people, need is more taxes. Peter Fenn, former Al Gore advisor and current Democratic strategist. Let me say it for you here, Peter. Besides George W. Bush and the last Congress, have you seen such a zeal to spend and tax?
Look, Glenn, I have to say I agree with you on one thing, and that is that if you cannot pay for it, you should not put it out there. And this president, as you point out, he sets the Guinness Book of World Records for spending and not paying.
Peter, I'm going to get to the Republicans. Believe me, I'm going to hit them real hard here in a second. But let's talk about the Democrats for a second. They are talking about, I have been reading a lot from the Founding Fathers lately. I'm reading a great book called The 5,000-Year Leap. Everybody should read this thing. And it's actual quotes from the Founding Fathers. Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, George Washington, they all said you shouldn't do anything and borrow money unless that generation can pay it off. There's no way we can pay for these programs.
You're absolutely right. And one of the things that I think has happened in this country is we now, for the first time, have become more of a personal debtor nation than a savings nation.
So then what are we doing when we have a candidate? Is she serious about a $5,000 savings bond?
Absolutely not. I will tell you one interesting thing about that, because I checked on it today. I talked to folks. They said there is no proposal to do that. There is nothing in her platform to do that. She was asked a question about, she called it an interesting idea because she was trying to encourage the savings. But I totally, no. I mean, but the money.
That is just going into, you're just buying your vote.
No. Well, listen, here's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for 4 years of a balanced budget, as we had during the Clinton administration.
But
I'm
Peter,
looking for fiscal responsibility.
Peter.
But you know,
you and I are saying the same thing. You and I, let's just break this into our own house, okay? Would you in your wildest dreams say, honey, we are on the verge of collapse. We have far more bills out there than I make in 100 years. Would you say, I'm going to get a second job and then allow your wife or have her not slap you across the face if you then said, and by the way, let's go out to the fanciest restaurant tonight?
You got it. I mean, we have in this country right now, we have this ethic, you know, that you can have your cake and eat it too. The average American family has a $9,600 credit card debt. The average kid coming out of college has a $3,000 credit card debt. You know, if we in the government can't say, look, we think we need a national kind of health care program that's going to cost whatever, $110 billion, then how are you going to pay for it? And you're going to pay for it not on the backs of your kids and your grandkids, but you're going to pay for it with, you know, if you're going to raise taxes, tell people you're going to raise taxes. If you're going to change the tax structure, tell people you're going to change the tax structure. But, you know, the problem now is overpromise, overpromise, overpromise. And
Peter,
that's a mistake.
I got to thank you very much for a spirited conversation. I got to run. You know, like I said, not just the Democrats that have been hijacked. The Republicans are overspending just as badly. I mean, they've abandoned their core supporters. I'm telling you, Republicans, you're done. You're done. Because I don't believe you've learned your lesson. Here with more is Bruce Bartlett. He is a former Treasury official in the first Bush administration. Bruce, am I wrong? I don't think they've learned their lesson. I haven't seen a come to Jesus moment from the Republicans.
Oh, absolutely not. In fact, I think that they've gotten themselves into a corner because, for example, the president's veto of this S-chip legislation is going to be very politically unpopular, and he might not have had to do it if he had had more credibility. If people believed him when he said he was going to veto things, he might have been able to negotiate something. So I think that they've gotten themselves into a terrible fix.
I mean, I find it interesting that, for instance, I think right now, Fortune magazine just ran an article a couple of weeks ago with Hillary Clinton on it, and they were talking about how companies like IBM, they're like, hey, I'm with Hillary Clinton. The reason why is because they can get that monkey of healthcare off of their back and move it onto the government's back. That's never a good idea for business because they know they're going to pay for it one way or another. But they don't trust the alternative. I mean, the Republicans are just as bad, and they'll leave them with health care.
Well, I don't think I agree with that, but I think that there are other issues as well. I think a lot of corporate executives are very uncomfortable with the very hard right social issue agenda. I think that most corporate executives are very tolerant of homosexuals, and they're not necessarily opposed to abortion. And I think there's a lot of people who are against the war as well, who just haven't really come out and said so publicly.
Yeah, okay, I can take the war thing, but I don't know anybody in real life that's talking about homosexual issues or anything like that. I mean, the people I know are talking about the war. They're talking about terror. They're talking about the economy. They are talking about their health care. You know, they're talking about real life stuff. And, you know, I haven't even heard a Republican come out and say that.
But every day when you pick up the paper, you read about how James Dobson is dictating to all the Republican candidates, if you're not totally with us on all of these social issues, you know, we're going to oppose you. We're going to run a third-party candidate and guarantee that you lose.
Yeah, I got to tell you something. I doubt that. You know, everybody says that. I'll make you a bet right now. If they ran as the front runner, Mitt Romney, an evil Mormon, you know, James Dobson wouldn't say a thing. We got to start looking back at 80%. Do I agree with 80% of what somebody says? I can live with the 20% as long as you're not, you know, belling up to the bar of socialism and evil. Bruce, thanks a lot.